Hey everybody, this is Aunt Bibi. Welcome to my channel. This is my second video. My name is Barb or Barbara, and Aunt Bibi comes from when my nieces were very young and they couldn't say my name. So my sister told them to call me Aunt Bibi. Um, I am a baby boomer, and in fact, one of those nieces is approaching middle age, so wow. Um, so today is Friday, May 18th. It's quarter to 10 in the evening. Um, I'm here in Abbotsford, British Columbia in Canada. I'm an American, but I have dual US and Canadian citizenship. So I have an interest in both US and Canadian politics. And so if you're wondering where Abbotsford is, it's right on the border with Washington State. It's just outside of the greater Vancouver area, just east of Vancouver. And I used to be able to see Mount Baker on the other side of the border in Washington State from my apartment window. Um, but they started building some townhouses next door, so they blocked the view. I used to make this joke, like Sarah Palin could see Russia from her porch or whatever. I used to joke that I could see the US from my apartment window. Um, so Abbotsford is in the Fraser Valley, and it's a very lush area. Even though it's a big suburb, but there's still a lot of farming around here. So it's kind of they call it the city in the country. And so it's a nice atmosphere. And it's a fairly mild climate. It's about the mildest, weather-wise, it's probably the mildest area in Canada. Um, I want to explain that I'm not doing these videos for money. I don't have a Patreon account, and I'm not taking PayPal donations or anything. I'm fine financially. I don't need the money. I'm just doing these videos just to speak a little truth and get some views out there that I'm not seeing from a lot of other people. Um, I want to thank Scott Creighton from the American Everyman website. He used to have a YouTube channel by that name, but it was shut down. And now he's working from his backup gaming channel called Church Dog 42. So if you're not a regular viewer of Scott's or you don't read his website, I would encourage you to do that. He encouraged me to do this, and he's mentioned my channel a couple of times in his videos, so I want to thank him for doing that. And I apologize too because I mispronounced his last name. I've been pronouncing it Crichton. It's Creighton. The other thing I wanted to do is I mentioned a young man in Ontario in my first video, Patrick in Ontario. And I forgot to mention his last name is Patrick Seguin. It's a French name. And Patrick had apologized to me after I had recommended Scott's channel, and he was very happy with Scott's channel. And so Patrick apologized to me and took back all the mean things he'd ever said to me. So that was pretty big of him. Patrick's had some health issues, I think, lately. But I think he's going to be okay. So, I wanted to mention that I encountered Patrick online the first time in Lionel's online chat. If you've ever watched Lionel, I used to watch Lionel a lot, and I thought he was funny, but now he's just talking about QAnon and I don't know, I think he's still pushing this narrative that Trump is some kind of savior president or something. I don't know. But I am very proud of the fact that I pissed off Lionel so much that he's either blocked my email or he just refuses to respond to them now. When Patrick was in Lionel's live chat, Lionel didn't know how to pronounce his name, so he kept saying Seguin. So I sent Lionel an email explaining how to pronounce Patrick's last name, Seguin. And so Lionel got it. And then Lionel, he would throw around French phrases every now and then, and his pronunciation was off. So I would send him email correcting his French. And I know that really annoyed him because Lionel has a big ego and he prides himself on knowing a lot of words and having a large vocabulary and being very sophisticated. So that ticked him off. But the thing that really got him was Lionel was talking about Ken Burns's Vietnam War series on PBS, and I sent him an email and I criticized him for doing that because to me that Vietnam War series by Ken Burns was just a whitewash. And Ken Burns in 2016, around the time of the election, he was doing a lot of fear mongering about Donald Trump and that people needed to vote for Hillary Clinton. So he was just, as far as I was concerned, Ken Burns is just a hellbot. So Lionel, he read the email in one of his live streams, and he was really mad. I could tell. So after that, he never answered my email anymore. But I'm very proud of that fact that I pissed him off that way. And that kind of brings me to what I wanted to talk about today. So in 2016 and right after the election, I noticed there's a term that got thrown around, people who were offended by everything about Donald Trump, that they suffered from Trump derangement syndrome. And I was not personally offended by Donald Trump. I didn't really care one way or another. I didn't vote for him. I voted for Bernie Sanders and then Dr. Jill Stein. So Trump didn't really bother me personally. I just was going to watch what he did as far as his policies. And a lot of people were criticizing me for that attitude. And they were saying, oh, you're a Trump apologist. You're a Trump supporter. And I mean, that wasn't true at all. I was none of that. So there's some people who, when they don't like a political figure, whatever, they kind of go overboard and they get offended by everything about them personally. And I noticed that recently on Twitter. It's funny. Yesterday, I think there was a meme on Twitter, and I will give the links. I will put the links in the show notes so you can see what I'm talking about. And I apologize, I'm not up to speed on OBS yet. I will be doing some more sophisticated videos once I get comfortable with OBS. I'm going to work on that on the weekend. But so I'm just going to read you the meme said, it was a picture of Nikki Haley, and Nikki Haley is the U.S. ambassador to the UN, and she's been defending Israel, or she's not denouncing the massacres of Palestinians in the Gaza. So this meme had a picture of Nikki Haley, and it says her name is Nikki Haley, real name is Nimrata Randhawa. Now that is a Punjabi name, and the Punjab is a northern state in India, and it's predominantly Sikh. And I happen to be familiar with Nikki Haley's background, and it just so happens that locally there's a really large Sikh community here in Abbotsford. So there's Sikh temples everywhere. So I'm fairly familiar with Sikhs and their religion and culture. So I thought it was kind of a low blow to criticize Nikki Haley just because I don't know her name, and it wasn't really. It's not a false name, and so I replied to this meme, and I said she happens to come from a family from India's predominantly Sikh northern Punjab state. Nikki's a family nickname with South Asian origins. She married Michael Haley, so she's not hiding behind a false name. And then I ended with, keep criticisms to what she does, not her name or background. Well, the person who posted this meme flipped out on me and didn't understand that I wasn't defending Nikki Haley and what she does. So they thought I was being, they kept accusing me of being like a Zionist and all this, and that's not true at all. So I kept replying, and they finally went quiet. So their argument was just nonsense, really, as far as Nikki Haley. But what was funny is there was somebody else on the right who saw me explaining Nikki Haley's name, and they thought that I was defending Nikki Haley. And so they liked what I'd said. And then I had to reply to them and explain, well, I'm not defending Nikki Haley. I'm just explaining her name. And so they said bullshit or something. I don't know. So I was getting it from both sides. And that seems to be the problem now. People can't have like a dialogue, a civil discourse. It gets very personal. And I like to try to keep it to policies. I mean, I get offended by, I don't know, I react sometimes to certain online content creators that I really don't like. But it's more based on the work that they've done. And it's not so much about them personally. It's just, I just acquire a dislike for them for what they've done. And I don't know, I think it's something cultural. This person on the left, the Palestinian supporter, I think is in the UK, and so I think it's something cultural. They didn't really understand that. Like, I get it. And Nikki Haley, she grew up in South Carolina, so she was probably trying to fit in anyway. So she just went by her nickname because it sounds, it sounds kind of like an American nickname, or Anglo name. I don't know. So I don't think in the UK they really understand the South. I don't know. There's a lot of people are really condescending about the South, I find. So I don't think they really understand that a South Asian in the South, the U.S. South, can't really live the same way that they can in the UK or something like. I don't know. The other thing I wanted to talk about was there's also on the left and the right, there's a lot of hypocrisy. It seems like, and right now, right now I'm seeing a lot of that on the right, I guess. So this goes back to my views about in the first video. I talked about Styx Hexenhammer 666. And so, he makes these videos where he's not being factual. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but nobody on the right calls him out for it. And nobody on the right will call him out for his endorsement of maker support and promotion of that platform, which is a fraud. I'll talk about that another time. But Scott's done some very good videos about maker support and that fiasco. So it's very disturbing to me that there are people like Hard Bastard, loves Styx Hexenhammer, or I call him Sticky Buns. That's my nickname for him. And Hard Bastard, he claims he used to be on the left and that he left the left, and he used to say that he's left of crazy, but he's really just a centrist. So I don't think it was a really big move for him. He was probably just left of center, and now he's more centrist or just right of center. But I don't know, people like Hard Bastard does very, very good work picking apart the lies and the propaganda in mainstream media. But it doesn't seem like he wants to do the same thing with Sticky Buns, or with H.A. Goodman is another one. H.A. Goodman said some terrible things about the situation in the Gaza, and he was blaming the Palestinians for getting killed. Like, it was ridiculous. So I'm really disgusted with these people like Hard Bastard. He should know better. And he should be calling out Styx and H.A. Goodman for these things. So um, I'll get into those things some more, I think. Um, I wanted to, okay, that's about it. But I wanted to correct myself about the first video, Jimmy Dore. I said that Jimmy Dore did not do any videos on the massacres in the Gaza, but he did do one since I did that video, so I have to correct that. And anything else that I have to, I don't know. So I'm gonna do different kinds of videos. I'll do some local interest ones and incorporate some political commentary or whatever. Um, so I just want to say that if you don't agree with what I'm saying, I have no problem with you commenting. You know, I don't really like getting nothing but positive comments. I would like to get like a mix if possible, and if there's anything that you don't agree with that I'm saying, you know, feel free to comment. And if you know others who might not agree with what I'm saying, and you know, tell them to watch the video. And if there's anything they don't like, you know, go ahead and say it. I don't care. Um, I might I might respond if it's a comment that I can deal. You know, if it's a constructive criticism, I can, you know, comment. I can react to that. That's not a problem. Let's see. Yeah. So comment. I was going to explain one other thing is if I don't know if you noticed the avatar or the logo for my channel. It's a sketch of a frog. It's a bullfrog, and it's a Japanese masterpiece. Actually, it's by a Buddhist monk from the late 18th century, early 19th century in Japan. He was a Buddhist monk, Zen Buddhist monk, and it's the picture is of a frog in Zen Buddhist meditation. And so the frog has a little smile because I guess if you're in meditation, I don't know, you put a little smile on your face. That's part of your focus on that. I'm not Buddhist. I'm not religious. I just kind of have a casual interest in other religions and other cultures and Asian culture. So the name of the monk who drew this sketch, his name is Sengai Gibbon. Sengai is his family name, Sengai. And I like the picture of the frog. I saw it on display at the National Gallery in Washington, D.C. in the 90s. And I really liked it because it was so simple and it was funny. It was this frog smiling. But I started using it like on Facebook. I used it as my profile picture or my cover photo. And it was funny, in 2016, there were people who would see that when I would come into a group like a Hillary group or something like that, and they would say, "Oh, that's Pepe the Frog. She's alt-right," or "This person is alt-right because that's a frog." All frogs, to them, all frogs were Pepe. So I thought that was funny. So I decided that this frog is the alt-left Pepe. And I've even given him a name. I call him Sin, S-I-N, Guy, G-U-Y, Sin Guy, after the name of the artist. So yeah, it's getting late here for me. I'm going to have to wrap this up. Okay, thanks for listening. So I'll try to do videos fairly regularly. I'm going to learn OBS over the weekend. I got it downloaded and everything. Okay, so you have a nice evening, a nice day, nice weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye.